Okay, yeah. What we did was, let me forgive me if for you all that could not see this. What we've been trying to do is uh, go with a different streaming platform, because the streaming platform we're going with, one that we're on right now that didn't cancel, uh, only allows you to go to a certain amount of uh, other social media platforms. So in other words, me and Kenneth only can come on Facebook. We only can come on his Facebook, my Facebook, his YouTube, my YouTube. And every time you add one, they add more money to the platform. Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe it's because theirs probably works. So um, yeah, I want to forgive us for that, because I thought I had worked out all the kinks, but obviously I hadn't worked out all the kinks, and um, which didn't allow us to go and stream to everybody that normally comes on and joins us. So I want to apologize for that. So what I did was I asked him, I said, "You got something to do?" He's like, "No, because looks like we're going to have this bad winter storm here." So he's saying he's bundled down, and I'm pretty much bundled down. I only have one other thing to do, so I decided to switch over, to see if we couldn't get a little more participation for those of you all who have been loyal watchers on the show. So he'll be back on here in a second. Uh, One of the things that we started off talking about on the show was, uh, we'll probably be on here for like another 30, 45 minutes. If you can join us, if you can, I understand. We'll keep trying to work this out to where it works for everybody. One of the things I asked them was, um, we talked about earlier was, do you think that the African American church as it's constituted right now has worked for us? I've been was very, very clear that it did not work for me in this moment. It wasn't working for me uh, in this moment, which is one reason why I haven't been to church. I haven't been to church because it doesn't speak to me, and um, I don't buy anymore what the pastors are saying. It doesn't show up in my life like that. I'm at a point in my life where I have to see you doing the work, and I have to feel, for me to participate, I have to feel somewhat protected by um, the church and what the church is selling in order for me to participate. I have 37 churches in my neighborhood, and I tell people this all the time. I got 37 churches in my neighborhood, and they're all are hemorrhaging membership, including the most popular one, which is um, Antioch around the corner, which has always been proactive in the community. Always, there's no doubt that Antioch has been proactive in the community with Cameron Alexander, who used to run that church. But they're hemorrhaging members too, and the question becomes, why are they hemorrhaging members, particularly African American men? Because I just don't think African American men are buying the message anymore, and they just aren't. They aren't. I don't buy the message. I don't. Somebody says, "Hey, do you feel protected by the blood of Jesus?" I go, "Nope." I go, "Nope," because I walk through my neighborhood. I walk through my neighborhood, and um, I don't. I don't see 37 churches working in my neighborhood. They come here every Sunday. They get tithes. They brought a lot of property. But do I feel protected? Do I see any African American? I see a few African American ministers, a few, um, but I don't see any that are doing anything to move the needle. In my opinion, not in my opinion, I don't. I think that I man, I'm sure some people are not gonna like this. I think the one of the most visceral reactions I had to anything over the last 3 months is um, the Winans minister talking to that lady like that. Hey, Keenan, man, thanks for joining us. Talking to that lady as she was trying to get him $1,200. I thought that was more damage than anything. I'm like, you really, really should be removed. If you didn't have the wherewithal to know that you were on camera and saying some shit like that and how it's going to affect other people who are watching it, man, come on, man. I don't feel protected. I see a lot of African American women doing the work, but I don't feel protected. I don't feel like if something happened within the neighborhood, like it would happen I would say right after Reconstruction up until the 65 Civil Rights Bill, that there are going to be people coming to protect the neighborhood. I don't. And I think until you fix that problem, and you fix the problem of stop telling us to wait for chariots to come flying out the sky with black horses and chariots and fire behind them to come and protect the neighborhood, you're going to constantly deal with this. I know young guys don't. That's why they don't go to church. They see it as a brand. They don't see African American ministers leading from the front. They don't see you. And let me be clear, I'm not everywhere, because it sounds like a general statement. I'm not everywhere. Maybe some are doing it, but optics is everything. I tell people, I realized optics was everything when I had to take a trip to France, and I was in Nice, and they had a poster up there called Thug Ball, talking about above the rim. I was like, whoa, this is what they're pushing in France about African American men? Thug Ball? You call it Thug Ball over here, but you call it above the rim in America? And it's funny, I should have known that before then, because the movement understood that television was a new medium. Well, right now, social media is the new medium. And nobody feels protected by the African American church. You going to church on Sunday with 7,000 members, man, I could give a flying fuck less about that. I'll talk to a pastor just like this. I could care fucking less. When I can go down to the playground, shoot basketball with those kids, and none of them have any faith in you, because you're not talking to them. You want to come over and you want to quote Deuteronomy and Genesis and blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, you're not speaking the language they need you to speak, but you are getting enough money. We literally control nothing in this country but our bodies. We have no capital markets. We have no capital investments in our communities. We get capital investments in our communities now through the city of Atlanta because we have an African-American mayor who is trying his hardest to make sure there's capital investments in Atlanta, of which almost all the African-American mayors in Atlanta have done that. That's why we have minority participation at the airport. But let me come out and say that equity funds run by Black people, I don't see what their investment is in the churches. And I'll get people coming down my throat. I don't give a flying fuck. The difference between those companies back in the day when my parents were growing up is you saw those companies in the neighborhood. They made it visible that Atlantic Life was making this investment in this neighborhood, giving loans for houses, giving loans for buildings, giving loans for churches. Hell, the vice kings did more than some of you all have done. The Royal Peacock was run by our numbers lady. I was told this story by a bishop who grew up. The Royal Peacock was run by a numbers lady on Auburn Avenue. She was a numbers queen in Atlanta. And she owned the hotel and the Royal Peacock Club. Let me finish. Close door. And she ran a numbers game. And Big Bethel, this is what they taught. This is what I was told. I was told this story. Had pews that were financed and they were behind on their bill. And the white company that was financing the pews came to pick the pews up, had a truck out front. Now, how true this story is, I have no reason to disbelieve it, but it sounded real because I'm gonna say it sounded real because of how he was telling me the story. He was like, I can remember. He is 82 years old now. And she had an apartment above the Royal Peacock. Went downstairs, asked them what they were doing. And they said, we're here to repossess the pews. And she said, you're not repossessing nothing. And went up there and got cash to pay for those pews and said, don't come back to this church. She was the numbers runner. That's a capital investment. And she was a member of that church. And the person that told me the story that at the service, this was on a Saturday. He said at the service the next day, the pastor called out the doctors and the lawyers who would sit next to her in the church. You won't sit next to her, but if it wasn't for her, you wouldn't have a place to sit. We done lost the plot. We done lost the plot. Black men of goodwill have lost the plot. Y'all don't want to hear it. I've heard people say to you, Leonard, what are you doing about it? I'm doing what the fuck I can. I'm the MPU chairman. I work with Atlanta Area Tech to get guys back in school. I go out to protests. And I'm always going, where the fucking ministers? I showed up for Fonnie Willis. And I don't say that to brag. And I showed up for Fonnie because I knew she needed somebody to show up. She needed black men to show up for her because she was the one that took the chance to go after the most powerful men on the damn planet. Let me be clear about this for those who don't like my language. I don't give a fuck who she's fucking. I could care less. Matter of fact, I hope he's doing it well so that she come to work on Monday. She can do what she can do to protect my community. And if he's doing that, I could care less. For all of y'all that's all in her sexuality and her sex life. I care about the people who are over there trying to vandalize her home that she doesn't feel safe, that black men had went over and said, we're not tolerating that shit. Don't come back over here. The church doesn't speak to me anymore. And I'm no longer willing to be quiet about it. You coming and giving me goddamn quotes out the scripture that I can't see at work in the community, I could care less. You need men like me, like Marion, like Kenneth. You are losing us in droves because you don't speak to us because you don't lead. You lead from the fucking back. Because you don't want them goddamn sticks to be hit over your head like John Lewis and Diane Nash and Martin Luther King. Kenneth is on here whenever he comes back, says, I speak from a historical perspective because I'm trying to tell you this is not new. This is not new. I do a little TikTok thing, and I got it on one of them. I mentioned the girls from Alabama, Birmingham church, and I got a note from a cousin of Cynthia Wesley, the 14-year-old that died. She said, hey, I saw you mention my cousin. I want to send you a newsletter we put out 20 pages to make her more human. Would you be willing to read it and tell us what you think? Wow. Yeah, I read it. She said that I read it. Two things stuck out to me. Two small things. One, she was 14. And in the newsletter, they have her last handwritten letter to her cousin that she visited every summer. And when she went to visit her cousin in Chicago, the next door neighbors was Angela Davis and her sister. So she knew them real well. And Angela Davis said, I think on Four Little Girls, Spike's documentary, that was one of the things that made her become an activist. But the second thing that stuck out to me was that her father was a principal and a second grade teacher. And up until the point where she died in that bombing. Her father was a part of a group of black men, because Birmingham, Marion, I'll tell you this, was known as Bombingham, had got together with a group of men who would patrol their neighborhoods at night. Now, this man still had to go to work the next day with guns to protect his family and his neighborhood. Because they were bombing the neighborhood because the church was the center of the gatherings for the civil rights movement. And that pastor for the 16th Baptist Church, is that right, Marion, had put the church in danger by saying, no, we got to have these gatherings here because other people wouldn't hold the gatherings. They didn't want to be put in danger of these rabid white men. So I get it. I was raised in the same Christian church as you always, but Bell Terrace Presbyterian Church on Golden Camp Road. I've been to Tabernacle with the Princess, probably the biggest church in the city of Augusta, where C.T. Walker used to minister. C.T. Walker at the time, who built Tabernacle, was the biggest African-American minister in the South. He'd go out, evangelize, I can't even pronounce the word. He'd go out and he'd draw 20,000 people to tent revivals. But y'all don't speak to the majority of black men because you don't lead from the front. And you're not willing to say or get together these great orators who are now pastors, and they great. A lot of them can speak to move you. But unless somebody can show me where they've all got into a room and say, what's the strategy going forward? Because hey, they move pushing us back. Why would I come in and join that? Why would I come and join that? And Mary, we definitely gonna talk about Mary and which one you want me to talk about. Um uh but we gotta start having some conversations. And if, in all transparency, I have my own issues. I'm not a perfect human being. I've made some mistakes, some huge mistakes. But I love my community and I love humanity. And I know that when we get together as African Americans and we make a decision that stuff's going to change, we make a change and we understand the sacrifice that has to be made. Kenneth and I are diametrically opposed about what should happen right now. I don't see how his strategy has worked in the last 12 months. Sorry, I'm just making sure he got the invite to come back on the show. I just don't see it. The person I listen to the most when it comes to stuff like this, because he does this for a living, and I can never, is Roland Martin and Angela Rye. And Roland keeps saying, this shit ain't working. He won't say it the way I'm saying it. Historical data, since we've had the full rights to vote, have shown that the African American community always votes policy-wise for the best interests of the country. Every time we vote. And this strategy, be clear, in my opinion, this strategy of sitting out has not borne any fruit. 50,000 people showed up yesterday in minus 30-degree weather to protest what they're doing in Minneapolis with ICE, which is Gestapo-like tactics. I am shocked that more ICE officers have not been injured or killed. I'm shocked at the restraint that people have shown. Because a lot of those people, it hasn't hit them yet. But I'm shocked. I'm shocked that Stephen Miller gets to come out and say some of the stuff he says. That people are showing him restraint because they still have some faith in this system of democracy that we say we live in. They still have some faith in this system of democracy. And they still think we can change it. But if you listen to Prime Minister Carney of Canada on Wednesday, he's saying you need to let that go. His speech could have been a speech that you could have just changed Canada and put African Americans in. You could have just changed Canada and used African Americans. Mighty quiet, Marion. His speech could have been that speech. This is not working. And I don't think the church, the African American church, here was your opportunity to stand up and to make yourself relevant again. But I'm getting CNN posts about Church 2816 down in wherever the hell they at. And I'm going, I've seen that goddamn pastor at no damn protest nowhere. I don't want you to quote me another scripture. Right now in my neighborhood, I have a college that's going through turmoil. Right now in my neighborhood, I have a college that's going through turmoil in my neighborhood. And Kenneth and I talked about this earlier. I got you. I see you. At Morris Brown College. was founded by the AME Church, was founded by Richard Allen, was a beast, an absolute beast, a brilliant man, as brilliant as anybody you know right now. And we're going through turmoil right now because that board can't get their shit together. And that board is the direct reflection of the broader board of the AME Church. And in my opinion, they have totally undercut that new bishop, Prostela. I think that's how you're saying. I'm saying it wrong. Totally undercut him and aired their business out in the street because they have a president. I don't know Dr. James. I've only met him once, but I will tell you, there's no doubt in my mind that he made the decision that he'll burn that shit all the way down. And that's a Messiah-like complex. But Kenneth and I were talking earlier. Thanks, Kenneth, for staying a little while longer. I do want to get to what happened at Davos earlier today.
Okay, hold on.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
Go ahead.
What were you saying about Morris Brown? I missed the first part of it.
I haven't got into it. I was waiting on you. I was segueing into it as you came on. Literally. I haven't said anything. I just said that it's a direct reflection of the Morris Brown board and the larger AME board of churches. That's all I was saying. I haven't even gotten to it yet. No. I haven't gotten to it. And I could tell you we're a little close.
Okay, what's your opinion of the initial firing and then the rehiring? I mean, I assume I saw the rehiring part. What's your opinion of the initial firing?
Let me try to say it. Trying to put my Brian Watkins hat on and not say anything that I know not to be true. I know that there were plenty of rumors before the fire, and plenty of. But I've been a victim of a whisper campaign, so I'm a little hesitant to get involved in them.
I have too.
I'm a little hesitant to get involved in them. I know more about the history of how the school reopened because Colette went back to school. So I have a different viewpoint because I've been very, very close to when the school did not have its accreditation and the students that were there. As Reverend, I've been trying to get past together act on the cap this spring. Harry, I don't know if Reverend Al has been trying to do that. I don't. Here's what I've been told.
He's been organizing marches.
Right. Here's what
that's his thing.
Here's what I was told. I told Kenneth this back in September. I don't know if Kenneth remembers this. When I was out there trying to do some stuff for Kamala, and a friend of mine said, Leonard, let's do this, who is a really smart dude who had contacts. And what he told me was that a pastor told him that pastors' egos are so big, they can't get together because they think that people are going to be trying to steal people from their congregation. That floored me. That absolutely floored me. Told him that. Said the reason as a pastor, pastors' egos are so big that they're worried about other pastors stealing congregants that they won't get out and do some of the stuff they're supposed to do and let you hold gatherings at their church because they're worried about their congregants going to their church and going, you know what, no, I like this church better. Man, how crazy is that? But he also said that it was going to take a non-pastor to call pastors out. Pastors weren't going to listen to other pastors. That's what he said. But a non-pastor could. A non-pastor could call pastors to the carpet. That's what he says. A non-pastor could call a pastor to the carpet.
Egos.
Ken is a non-pastor. I'm a non-pastor. And so what I just said to you
I'm
is,
far from a pastor as ever will be.
Yeah. What I'm saying to you, you are not going to get me by preaching to me the word of the Bible of a book. I am too educated to always understand that, hey, it's more to it than this. You will get me through your actions, though. You will get me to follow and listen to you through your actions. And so many pastors don't know how to talk to black men like that. So many African Americans. I can ask Kenneth, when was the last time you went to a Super Bowl party, bourbon tasting, amongst your friends and y'all start talking about pastors that you follow or the church or what the church is doing. Never happens with me or the protection of the black neighborhood. Never.
No,
Not
no.
even come up.
The exact opposite, actually.
Right. Doesn't even come up amongst well-meaning, and I say decent black men because I don't expect them to be perfect. Doesn't even come up. The men that you need to be in the church, they ain't thinking about the church.
Shoot, I've been to Super Bowl parties with church members and it never came up.
And people say, well, that's not the place to
Deacons
talk
in the
about
church. Right. That ain't it.
That's what
Other
they say.
stuff came up.
Right. But what it is the place to talk about what's going on in the African American community and the protections that African American community need. Pastor Brian's wife's dress will come up. Pastor Brian's wife's dress will come up.
That's funny.
It'll come up. Because to me, mentioning that, and we're going to talk about something Mary wants to talk about, I promise you. To me, if you would call my wife a two-bit hoe, I'm coming to your church. We're going to know what's off limits.
Well, that's two things. Well, it's actually two sides of the same coin. Jealousy because he has a big church and he's making money, and the other part of it, jealousy because his wife looked damn good in that dress. That's jealousy right there. That's straight jealousy. But that's always been a hallmark of a lot of black churches anyway. Black pastors the same way back in the day. Do you remember when the before they had the Montgomery bus boycott, there was Reverend Vernon Johns, or Dr. Vernon Johns. I think he was a doctor. But anyway, he was a pastor of the same church that Martin Luther King was before Martin Luther King got there in Montgomery. And he was doing the same, he did pretty much the same thing that Martin Luther King was doing, at least maybe not the bus boycott, but he was trying to do a whole lot more in the community that Martin Luther King didn't even do. Well, I can say not a whole lot more. He was trying to do the same thing. And he was trying to organize the pastors in the area and have them do this and do that. He spoke to his congregation about voting rights and all of that stuff. And the black community, the black preachers rejected him. His own congregants got rid of him because they thought he was too radical. They kept saying, "You're too radical. What you trying to do? You're trying to get us killed." And he wasn't trying to do anything. He was just saying, "This is your basic rights. This is what you're supposed to have. This is the things that are supposed to happen to us, happen for us. We're not asking for anything extra." But he was ostracized, fired from the church. And really and truly, I don't even know what happened to him after that. And the only reason I knew about it because there was a movie starring James Earl Ray about it.
Talking about Vernon Johns?
Yeah.
Vernon Johns was a beast. Vernon Johns was a beast.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, Vernon Johns.
And the thing is, it's ironic that when he was the pastor prior, right? Like the pastor prior to when Martin Luther King did.
Right.
He was there. He was pushing this congregation, and they rejected him. As soon as Martin Luther King did, he pretty much did the same thing. They followed him. But he came from Vernon Johns, I think, was in your face with it. Martin Luther King was a little bit more educated and a little bit more subtle with it. That's why he eased them into it. Vernon Johns was like, "No, forget that. We're gonna keep the door in." Martin Luther King was like, "Okay, let's try to find a key, or let's do a little subtle thing." Vernon Johns was like, "I ain't trying to be subtle. I'm trying to do this. This is what we deserve, and we shouldn't ask for anything less. We shouldn't expect anything less. And if they don't like it, damn them." That was his point of view. That from the movie, that's what I got. Now I haven't done a lot of research on him, but that sounds about right. And that's what we need now. We need people who gonna kick the door in, and not people who just gonna try to find an easier way in, or a nicer way in. We don't need nice anymore. We don't need subtle. We need somebody that's gonna come in, kick the door in, and start kicking ass. That's what we need in our community.
and we need that for our community. So
Yeah.
we need that. We need the African American church has been such the most powerful institution in the community, which rightfully so. I don't think that's our criticism. We're saying that I'm saying that you all have lost the moral high ground because you don't lead from the front and you made it more about a business. And I was reading something yesterday talking about Daryl Scott and some of the and in the late 70s when the I started reading about the numbers, and they were saying so many number runners who got ran out of business when the state lottery started coming in, which I didn't know started coming in around 69 because numbers runners was so much a big part of African American neighborhoods that a lot of those
Oh
guys
yeah.
became pastors. That's why they called them storefront pastors. They
They
became
can still
pastors.
do what they want to do.
Right. They still do. And but they weren't Vernon Johns, MLK. They saw the business side of it. They saw that I can make a lot of money. And I'm very open about how I feel about this. I don't have a problem with you making money if when the shit hits the fan, you now that money you made, now it's time for you to come and do what you're supposed to do. I say that about our congressmen all the time. I have no problems with Nikema Williams and Luce McBath making their salaries. But now that we need you to be on the front line to be fighting, oh, you can't just slide back into the some of the wealthiest black Marion has been talking about this for a week. Black ministers in the state are in the state of Georgia. I don't have a problem with you making your money. I have a problem with there's no capital investment in African American neighborhoods. This is going to be a controversial take. And I say this all the time. D.L. Hughley has said this. You could be two things at once. Eddie Long, without a doubt, from what we understood, was a sexual predator against young boys. Eddie Long also had a vision of financial viability for black churches, which is why he was opening up a credit union right there on Evans Mill Road, that black churches could be the dominant force. Marion has a story. He could tell you that they tried to get black churches to open up banks so that they could provide capital for black neighborhoods. They couldn't get that.
I say this. There's a when I was living in New York, I went to Alanami in Queens, in Jamaica, Queens, and it was the pastor was Reverend Floyd Flake, who's also a congressman too. He understood that they had a credit union, they had a retirement home, and they owned like a block around the church. They had a school, that they had all that stuff going on right there. And he understood that part of it. And then he retired from Congress, ended up being the president of, I think it was Wilberforce, for a couple of years. They asked him to come in and do that. So he understood that part of it, the economic part of it, the community-based economic part of it. And we need more churches to understand that part too. Even if you have a small church, if you, as they were saying, Marion was alluding to, even if you're a small church, you can group up with smaller churches or other small churches and create a credit union.
Marion has a story about that, about making. Marion has been told me this story about, what's his name, Marion? Father John. Father John, he's a Catholic priest, because Marion's Catholic, he's known as a civil rights pioneer. And I want to address something that Lisa said. And he said, I couldn't get them together because they couldn't get their damn egos out the way.
And even to me, that is the strangest thing in the world to me.
Because, but wait,
this going to be a pastor and have a pastor of a church and talk about the teachings of Christ and all that, and have an ego.
Father Richard,
that doesn't make any sense to me.
So Marion told me to go look him up, right? So this is what Marion said. Marion, correct me if I'm wrong. Because when he got them together, let's just say Church A that has 5,000 members would say, yeah, but how much control we gonna have over the credit union because we got 5,000 members. He only got 2. We want a bigger say. So do our members get more generous portions, or however they want to put it, because we bringing in 5,000 members?
I just don't. I
Wait, say it
I mean
again.
that makes no sense to me, man. It really makes no sense to me. Because
Exactly.
why into a situation like that, something that benefits everybody,
The
why
whole
are you
community.
worried about who has a bigger stake?
The whole community. Capital
The whole
market.
community has a bigger stake. And to be quite honest, you could have each member, not each member, each church could have the equal number of board members on the church. I mean, members on the board, and it's an equal say, equal number of people, and you have people coming from the community. Somebody who has nothing to do with either church, have that person be on the have those some members like that. That's the best way to do it. That's the easiest way to do it.
They couldn't get out their own way. That's the thing.
I know. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing, the whole concept of them not agreeing to do this because of egos just blows my mind. I really don't understand the selfishness of some people. I really don't understand that.
And that's
all
why
these things that's going on, we can't at a regular bank, we can't get a damn home improvement loan or a home loan period or a car loan because of this, that, and the other thing. And it's something that'll benefit the entire community, and you don't want to do it because you worried about Reverend so-and-so has a bigger congregation than me, and they gonna have more say so.
And that's why they don't attract people like me and you. Because we walk in and we see the bullshit off top. And we ask questions like nigga, what? You're supposed to be the pastor. Why you want me to refer to you as pastor when you acting like the nigga on the street? You want me to follow that? You want me to come in my time and effort, as hard as I work, to do that? And then you want me to talk to you because you got a piece of white cloth right here when I know you ain't shit? That's why me and you don't come to the church. That's my point. You don't lead from the front. You want to come and quote scripture to me, but your actions are so unscripture-like. We can't get capital investment, but we know between the 10 of y'all, we not asking you to give up all the money that you're supposed to be, and then you wonder why African American male membership, like people like me and you, is diminishing. The people that you need the most, because the women don't want to keep running the church. They want men to come in. African American women are asking for black men to lead. It's crazy to watch African American women beg African American men to lead in our generation. Let's be clear, 1965 to present. Because we got pastors that can't get together. And that's what the guy told my boy. Y'all gonna have a problem.
With Harriet, the question Harriet asked. I don't know, Harriet. I don't know.
No,
I've been to, in my entire life, I've been a member of 2 churches led by women pastors. I do know there's pushback. There was pushback against them. Matter of fact, Reverend McIntyre, Good Shepherd. Now, I don't know if she started Good Shepherd Church. I really don't know. But she became the pastor. She was a pastor of Good Shepherd for many years. Marlowe's grandmother, Marlo McIntyre's grandmother. And well-known pastor around Augusta. Did a lot as far as I can tell. She did a lot for the community over there by Josie, in the area around Josie. Had a decent-sized congregation. Had a lot of pushback for years because they didn't think a woman should be in the pulpit. Now, I don't know where in the Bible it says that, because I'm not a Bibleist or whatever they call a theologian. I don't know where they said that in there, but it's always this misogynistic thing that women shouldn't lead the church. Then the church I grew up in, she was Reverend Williams. She was what they used to call a daughter of the church. She came through Good Shepherd herself, and then she started her own church. Reverend Dr. Cynthia Hale, Rev Hope, member of her church. I don't see ego with them.
I was going to say the same thing.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Let me piggyback.
And that's another thing too.
All right, go ahead.
Dr. Cynthia Hale, I can't remember. No, she wasn't. But she had a close relationship with Eddie Long. And he, she respected him, he respected her, and all that.
That was his former church.
Yeah, the church is where it's located now. That was his former church.
Right.
It's the thing of, And there are men in the church that follow her and love her to death. I love her to death. She said something when but the day I joined the church, or the sermon, the day, either the day I joined the church or the week after, week before I joined the church, she said something that had me so damn, that had me laughing so hard. I still laugh. I told her about that 2 years later. I told her what she said. And that just had me dying laughing. I said, this is the church I want to go to. And the reason why I haven't gone to anybody's church stand consistently is because she set the bar very high. Not only in her preaching and her teaching, but also she set the example of how a pastor should act in terms of the community, her activism. Matter of fact, I think her title was chaplain for the Democratic Party at one time.
It was
the National Democratic Party.
Absolutely, it was. It was.
Yeah. So she did not just talk the talk, but she walked the walk. I never got a thing about ego with her. Never got a thing about ego with her. None of the women pastors I've ever met, I've seen ego. But these men come and they think they all that. And they think that because they have people following them, that they are more important than they really are. This whole ego thing is going to be to the detriment. And also, too, let's go beyond just the church with this. Politicians, black politicians, still in office and being ineffective, ain't doing a damn thing. Hank Johnson, David Scott, shoot, what's his name? Used to be the DA in Fulton County. Oh shoot.
Howard?
Yeah, Howard. Yeah. Long past their expiration date. These guys. They don't want to move out the way because they like the perks of being in office. But they ain't putting in the real work and all of that. Now, and I'm saying this because I've seen it firsthand. I've noticed this my own self, from an outside perspective, just seeing these things. I met Hank Johnson when he was a county commissioner in DeKalb County.
You better address what Michael just put up on that screen.
Okay, I'll do that. But let me say this. I met Hank Johnson when he was a county commissioner, and after a 5-minute conversation with him, I was like, this motherfucker ain't shit. He's sorry as fuck. That after 5-minute conversation. And I know people who've been around him. One of my line brothers been around him extensively. He said the same thing. Like, man, Hank Johnson, something wrong with Hank Johnson. But they don't want to give up no power. They keep running. David Scott, they say they hadn't voted in years. Voted in an election in years. Hadn't even voted for himself. How the hell are you going to be running for office, don't even vote for yourself? What kind of shit is that? But he's still in office. Now,
Okay,
let me read what Mike said.
Read it. Wait. Read it out loud since Mike decided to blow up the show. Since Mike decided to blow up the show, read it out loud.
All right, let's say what our old friend Mike Broussard said. I would never sit under a woman pastor. They can hold leadership positions, but not lead, but not head. 1 Timothy 2:12. I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. All right, Mike. I'm going to address this. I'm going to address this as one simple thing. A simple way. We follow we follow the King James Version of the Bible. Do we know who wrote the King James Version of the Bible? We can always say, let's say this, the Bible has been translated, we don't even know how many times, from its original language. And whenever you translate something from one language to another, it loses some of its, some words are not translatable. Some words are not, and phrases and how you phrase things, they're not translatable. They can mean one thing in one language and another thing in another language. The King James Version, real quick note, King James Version is named after none other than King James of England. I tell this to my students because it's kind of crazy to me. There's a passage in the Bible that said, slaves obey your master. There's another one that says,
Don't wear wool.
Render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and unto God what is God. Something that I'm paraphrasing.
Hey,
But
man,
render unto Caesar what is Caesar.
Hey, look,
So-
neither one of us biblical scholars, so we need to.
But I'm paraphrasing. But that's what it says. Those things they say.
I got the book. Which one you want me to look up? I got it right here. I keep it.
Hey, you don't have to Google it. Google it first and tell me exactly. Google it. Okay, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Look that up first. Look that up. No, don't look in the Bible. Google it and see what passage it says in the Bible. Then turn around and look at the Bible, and you can read the whole.
Wait, can I make a point? Because everybody wants to know why I'm laughing. Let me tell you why I'm laughing. Because Kenneth being so nice to Mike. Because if that was me, and Kenneth is if it was me, that ooh, I'd be getting my ass tore right now. So let me say this. Let me say this to Mike.
No. Listen,
Michael's a good friend, and I'm glad Michael's on the show. Michael's a good friend. I'm glad, and I keep a Bible. My philosophy teacher, Mr. Dr. Parker, always told me when we first got to class, whenever the Bible comes up, you need to get a book, pull it out, and go to what the person is talking about. That's what he said. Right. He said, do not talk about it if you don't have a Bible.
Okay, and, so that's what I'm saying. Google, look on your phone. Look up render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and find that in the Bible and read it to. Now I'm gonna say all this is this. The Bible was written by a man for a man. Why would and I tell my students this? Why would God care about whether or not you pay taxes to the king? God wouldn't care. Let's be real. God wouldn't care. The God that I know, that I think I know, wouldn't care if you pay your taxes, because that ain't got nothing to do with him. Ain't got nothing to do with God. So render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. God will not tell whoever who in a message, tell them, hey, make sure you say in there, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Another part of it too. The Bible was written before Caesar was even born. So God wouldn't even tell somebody render unto Caesar. Be like, who the hell is Caesar? God, who's Caesar? That's number one. Number two, slaves obey your master. Why would God tell you to obey your master if you're a slave? Why would he do that? He wouldn't. God did not authorize slaves. I can tell you that now. God didn't say, you know what? We're going to have a master class and we're going to have slaves. I want you to mistreat your slaves as much as possible. I want you to starve them to death. I want you to kill them. I want you to abuse them. All that. That's what I want. I'm authorizing this. That's not the God that we serve. The one that we're supposed to worship wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do it, or she, whatever perspective you want to put this in. So the whole thing of somebody writing in the Bible that a woman cannot be a pastor, cannot be a preacher, cannot lead a flock and all that does not make any sense if you look at it practically. Because the Bible was written, the King James version of the Bible was written during the reign of King James. And it's been rumored that that the person who wrote it was William Shakespeare. That's why it's written in the ye and thee and thou and all that. That's why that's in there. That is not the I shouldn't say old English. That is old English. That is not the language that they spoke during biblical times. It's not even close. So when we start quoting the Bible, what Bible are you quoting? And the whole thing about the Bible itself, the Bible is a bunch of, I guess you could say, parables, stories. Which is why the same story is written several times in the Bible. It's written several times. And it's to reinforce certain things That's what it's there for. So if you can't lead, if you're gonna be a devout follower of the Bible, don't eat no shrimp. Don't eat catfish. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in there that you can't do that we do on a regular down here. Don't do it. If you're gonna follow one scripture and go with that one scripture and follow it to a T, then damn it, do all of them. You can't pick and choose which ones you follow. Because if you're gonna be a devout Christian, a devout Bibleist, and be a strict follower of it, follow all of them. Don't pick and choose.
The Bible, as you read it, Michael says we choose to believe. Marion says it was the women who came to take care of Jesus after he died. Where were the cowardly men? One of the reasons why we have so many male chauvinistic, misogynist pastors is because they believe that quote and they let that quote seep into every other part of their life. One of the reasons, Kenneth is going to say, there you go again, one of the reasons why Diane Nash, who was probably one of the top 5 civil rights leaders, if you could rank them like that, was not allowed to speak at the March on Washington. And Diane Nash was integral. That SNCC could not be SNCC without Diane Nash. Was because of misogynistic, male chauvinistic pastors who did good, but they were male chauvinistic nonetheless. Even the guy who pushed the Montgomery boycott, who called Martin Luther King a coward in a meeting, the activist by the last name of Nixon, said the women should only be in the kitchen as the women were out there doing the work. It is interesting to me that you don't think women could lead in the pulpit, but as a former military person, you know women could lead in the field because it's based on merit and what you do and how you work. This belief that I'm supposed to not change my belief over a book and some words, that's all the arguments that Kenneth had because they spoke Aramaic. And that I won't follow somebody as consequential who makes as much sense as Dr. Cynthia Hale or Dr. Barbara King because they're women and they have obvious leadership qualities. Joan of Arc too, don't know much about her, but if the legend is true, many people followed her. Because of a biblical verse, I just don't understand that. And let's say he says you're totally misrepresenting the scriptures. I don't know what people say the Bible don't eat pork. I don't know what else you want me to say about the scriptures. The word of God being established during the same period. The Bible doesn't exist in a vacuum. You said you pulling he said William Shakespeare, you pulling straws. We're going to have you on the show now. The quote was from the Ephesian church. The Caesar quote was from Jesus, not God. The Bible is also known as Jewish fairy tales. I don't think that's the point. I think the point is you have to ask yourself, how does God speak to you? Does he just speak to you through this book? This book, let's have an honest opinion about it, honest discussion about it. Kenneth and I just said it. We were raised in this book since before we could walk. Our whole brains have been brainwashed by this book. So the brainwash might not be a good word, but program. Wouldn't you agree, Kenneth? It's been programmed by this book. It's been programmed by this book.
Yeah.
It's been and it's hard to change your programming when you're our age. But it doesn't mean that I can't say it doesn't make sense and it doesn't serve me any longer as I'm watching my community. Because I always try to keep it in the context of I cannot do anything else by anybody else's community. I know my community is consistent. I know that the Black church, in my opinion, and black male ministers, in my opinion, have totally dropped the ball. And we've just talking about this. You're saying that if a group of female ministers, let me ask you this. A group of Black female ministers, let's say 5 of them, Dr. Hale, some other ones got together and said, we're going to start a credit union. about churches, and our churches all combined together, they serve 12,000 members. And we're going to put together the money, and we're going to start a credit union because we realize there's no capital investment in the Black community. There's no financial vehicle. There's no more Black insurance companies, no more Black banks. Blanks need more money, and we're going to get our membership of 12,000 every week to say we're going to each give $5 to support this credit union. Are you saying that you won't join the credit union because the credit union was started by some Black female pastors? And it's good for the community because Timothy says Black women can't lead. I mean, is that what you're saying? Wait a minute. He says you have to separate leadership from leading churches. Tell me how you do that. I mean, what does that look like? I mean, hell, you, Kenneth and Marion, tell me, how do you separate leadership from head of churches? So the head of the church then has final authority over the leadership who's making more sense than the goddamn head of the church. I can't get that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't, just because you head in the church. We have to search for the truth, constantly learn, understand. No doubt. But you can't be so damn heavenly that you're no damn earthly good. I can't get in the spirit and be so heavenly that I do what Kenneth just told me not what don't do. Kenneth just said, Leonard, go down here and talk to those guys that asked you to talk to. That's what he just told me. Let me tell you how to do it. I've done it before. Don't go by yourself. But when you go down there, don't go down there quoting scripture. Is that what you said? So you want me to go down? I'm going to go down there in the Holy Spirit and go, hey, man, you know Deuteronomy said, man, don't be selling that crack on the neighborhood. He said, hey, man, look, man, you better get out of here. I got to feed my daughter, like Biggie said. And I'm sitting here with my tool, too. I'm sitting here with my tool, too. What's up, Byron? That's my boy right there, Kenneth. I can't believe he came on here. I mean, that's my partner right there. We got stories that we can't even say on the air. So that's my partner right there.
Hey, we don't know when the statute of limitations ran out on this stuff, so don't say it. I've done some stuff like that my damn self.
But the point being,
thank God we didn't have social media when we was young.
Yeah, so thank
none
God.
of us would have a job.
Not with Byron around. Thank God it wasn't social media when Byron was around. Thank God.
One of the things I say this. I take the Bible as a guide. I don't take it literal, because you can't take it literal. You can't. If you take it literally, you won't be able to do a lot of things that we do. So, I take it as a guide. And if you take it as a guide and not take it literally, I think you can be more of an asset to our community in the stuff that we need to do. We definitely need to, and I'm not trying to knock anybody's faith or anything like that. I don't care, really and truly, I don't care what you believe. Be quite honest. I have my walk of faith. Yeah, I care what you do. Your faith has nothing to do with if your faith leads your actions, and your faith leads you to do some dirty shit, then you ain't shit. That's just it. You can like we've said so many times before, we have the Bible was used to justify slavery. The Bible was used to justify treating Black people like crap.
Wait. You said, why won't you stop with it? You saying was. There's a church out right now that Pete Hegseth belongs to, Michael, that uses this book that says Black people shouldn't be in leadership positions. That has people on the internet that he is an active member. The Department of War, an active member. Not was, is. That's what white nationalism is. They say it's based on this book. And what we have said, what Kenneth and I said in this conversation before you blew the show up, I told you were going to blow the show up, Michael. I told you, when you said that, I was like, Mike just blew the show up, Kenneth. He just blew the show up. What we have said was, we got women that listen to the show. We said you just blew the show up. You the new Marion. Well, you need to come on the show all the time. You the new Marion. You better be here next week. What we have said was, Byron can hear this, because Byron's a faith man. is that the black church does not speak for me anymore. They provide me no protection. They have not shown me they can get men together to be men to provide protection for the neighborhood in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Not in my opinion. Now, my little brother's trying to, excuse me, Brian, Kenneth doesn't like me say little brother. My brother Brian is trying to get me to go out and check out this church and go in there. He said, I think they'll speak to you.
A grown-ass man called him little brother.
Right. He'll speak to you. But I got 37 churches in my neighborhood. Y'all don't understand. I run a neighborhood of 2 neighborhoods. It's 37 churches here. I got 2 big churches. And I'm sitting here asking the same question that Kenneth's asking, that me and Marion have talked about this so many times. Me and Marion told me about Father, goddamn, he just said his name. And I'm going, this is low-lying fruit. This is low-lying fruit. You can't get your egotistical bullshit ass who quotes this book to go with another egotistical bullshit ass to quote this book to say, huh? Oh, I better not hit the book too hard. I don't want no zealots.
You don't have it upside down, do you?
No, don't do it. I don't
have it upside down, do you?
Don't you do it? No. Don't you do it? Don't you do it? I don't have it upside down.
I just want to make sure. I couldn't see. I want to make sure you had it the right side up and not upside down.
I'm not him. We can't get them together because people don't like me being blunt to say, Kenneth don't like this word. Kenneth, put your hands at your ears. I'm gonna talk like a black person. Y'all niggas can't get together to do that little shit. Y'all can't get together to do that. You got a PhD in theology. Skip Mason got 100,000 people on his Skip Mason Vanity page, bro. I got Morris Brown, goddamn, just drowning in controversy, and y'all can't get together to say, hey man, let's put our egos to the side. We got a problem, and you want me to come to church because of this book said Timothy can't women. I got a pastor right across the street from my house that's literally trying to survive, who's calm, cool, collected. And the AME church ain't giving her no support, but she just got a development to come and develop on the lands of her church. Man, bruh, stop. Bruh, stop.
Man,
you lead from the back.
It is.
My bad, Kenneth. I had to get that out. My bad. I've been waiting to do that all day.
It's all good. I think egos are going to be the detriment of our community. Everybody has their little fiefdom, and they want to protect it instead of protecting the entire community.
Yep.
We need to, and as I said, and you have people who just don't want to get out of the way. I'll say I don't. If you are in a position of power, if you're in an elected official, and you're just being a placeholder, you need to go. That's it. You just need to go. And you know something, Marion, I agree with you. The AME Church. Now I'll say this: what's the phrase? The immediate or the most obvious low-hanging fruit of why Morris Brown went under was because of people stealing money. But at the AME Church and the board of trustees,
that's not what happened. Wait. I can't let that go. That's not what happened.
Well, that was the accusation. Yeah. I knew it was something about getting financial aid and it was helping the school and all that.
Let me give you what the judge told her. Y'all can pull it up yourselves. When he sentenced her, he didn't give her any jail time, didn't give the Indian chief operating officer any jail time. And what the judge told her was this. She gave her interview. The judge told her, I know what you were doing was not for your personal benefit.
Oh, yeah. I never said that.
Yeah, I can see what you were trying to do. I can see that you were taking this money from financial aid just to keep your lights on.
Right.
And that's not what
that's what I was talking about. That's
okay, my bad. Because she got a bad rap for that.
It wasn't about It was, but the thing is this: if the AME Church fully supported them the way they were supposed to, Morris Brown wouldn't have had that problem. Now,
no, it's back, Byron. It's hanging on by a thread. We got a big controversy
it's
going on right now.
These churches that make billions of dollars a year, billions of dollars, AME churches, small and big, make billions of dollars a year, can't support what 3 or 4 universities. I ain't say they got to give all of their money to them, but if you're going to be the governing board over these colleges and universities, you need to be there. You provide financial support. I understand, you might not have as good as you used to, but you got it good enough to keep them afloat. And I don't understand why it's an issue. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't be up for discussion. If they need $100,000 a month to keep the lights on, then damn it, give them $100,000 a month. That's just it. Whatever they need to keep the lights on, keep the lights on. People shouldn't have to rob Peter to pay Paul, and then pay John on the other end. That should not be happening to these universities. And I understand there's also an issue of alumni donations too. They could be better. They aren't the worst, but it could be better. But I think we need to the fault of the reason why Morris Brown went under to begin with was because of the AME Church not supporting it the way it should be. And that happens with a lot of these church-based universities. Now, I don't know, at least in the Black community, I don't know which other schools the AME Church supports or the governing board for. I have no idea which ones they are. But they need to step up, period. They need to step up. You got 10,000 churches. You got 10,000, 20,000 AME churches throughout the country. And you mean to tell me y'all can't come up with $100,000 a month? Y'all can't come up with that?
Let me say this, because I'm always real careful about, from what my knowledge is. Let me say this. Morris Brown, when they went under, if I remember correctly, it was 2 brothers that held the bonds, 2 brothers out of New York. They were $13 million. Morris Brown couldn't pay for it. I think you're dealing with a bigger issue that we don't want to talk about. And this is where when Michael says women in leadership positions, this is where women tend to let their egos not be in the way of doing what's right, which is why Black women vote 92% for what's right for the country. That's just historical fact. The AME Church, from what I can understand, my wife is really involved in AME Church. The AME Church, all the AME Church chapters, like the one across the street from me, that's pastored by Pastor Cynthia, don't have the tithing base to sometimes not get their bills paid. Right now, we're talking about trying to help them figure out how to help them get their air conditioning paid. So when you say the AME Church and they should have supported Morris Brown, I agree with you. If their finances were in order. But I'm of the opinion this is where leadership, this is where we keep talking about leadership. And okay, matter of fact, I know I'm on a tangent, y'all. I can almost accept kind of what Michael's saying, head and leadership. Because if the head cannot motivate the people to save Morris Brown, and people don't understand how important Morris Brown was. Morris Brown was a open, how did I say it, Kenneth? Open admission school, right? Whereas if you got to Morris Brown, you would be admitted. If you were on remedial reading, you had to go through remedial courses to get to, and I know about that. I know Byron's too smart to take remedial reading. I had to take it. I don't know why, but I did. But Morris Brown let you in, even if you
weren't. Most schools do that though. That I say this. Most schools do that because I know I got into the University of Georgia. I had to take remedial reading and remedial math.
Okay. So what I'm saying is but University of Georgia chooses who comes to school. At Morris Brown, it was an open admission policy.
So yeah, that might have been the case. Yeah.
Right. So it was that important to the community. So what we started, because Kenneth, we can go off on tangents all day, and we still ain't talked about what Marion wants to talk about. We're running out of time. What I'm saying is,
we're an hour and some change. Oh, what the hell we're running out of time. We done 2 shows today. Come on, we running out of time. Shit, time been over. Okay. Luckily, I ain't got nothing else to do today.
I do. It's too important. The church has not been, in my opinion, the church does not speak to me. That's how I started off the show. The church does not speak to me based on the example of what the church is setting as I see it. Right, if you had a desire, you were admitted. The church is run mostly by men. The men are leading from behind. You want men like me and the people who are talking right now to join the church, become active in the church, which is what African American women want. Then you need to change your tactic. You can't just come at me talking about Timothy and Deuteronomy when I know what you do. I know that, hey, if push comes to shove and I go and put my life. What'd you say, boy? What'd you say?
I said.
All right, come back next time, Michael. Yeah, come back next time, Michael. We do this every Saturday. Come back. We know they are at 10. We'll be on this streaming platform for a while. Go ahead.
But listen, with the point you're making, it makes a lot of sense. It does. I have always, and this even goes back to the election when Donald Trump won against Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. It wasn't because of those women were not qualified. It was because they were women, period. And in the case of Kamala Harris, a black woman, that made it even worse. The campaigns that they did that Trump ran, and both of them was so goddamn idiotic and stupid. The stuff he said made no damn sense. Whenever they debated him, they made him look like a damn a 3-year-old child intellectually. He couldn't compete with them intellectually. Hell, they were stronger than him, period. He looked like an impetulant, I don't know if I'm using that word. He looked like a punk-ass child. Seriously. In his feelings, said nothing relevant, just mumbling and saying stupid stuff in those debates. But people didn't vote for them because they were women. That's bottom line. They didn't vote for them because they didn't vote for those 2 ladies, those 2 women, because they were women. And I don't care what anybody else says. All the other bullshit that they talk is irrelevant. They were women. That's why they didn't vote for them. So this goes on to a bigger societal thing about women. Men don't want to follow women because of 1, societal rules, old school societal rules, and 2, they think that a woman is too emotional. That bitch ass Trump is the most emotional motherfucker I ever seen in my damn life. That motherfucker can't. I'm really surprised, and I'm being real honest. I'm surprised his punk ass hasn't started crying on screen yet when somebody talk about it. I don't understand that. How somebody would follow him. But they always talk about women are too emotional. They're hysterical. That's what they talk about. We need to get away from that. Especially as black men. We need to get away from that. We can't sit back and keep allowing these irrelevant, immature men to run our country. Because as you can see, it could be to our detriment. And I'm going to say this one thing. In the history of the world, as far as I know, now I may be wrong, but as far as I know, not one woman leader has ever started a war. They may have gotten into a war as a reaction to something else. But as far as I can tell, not one woman has ever started a war in this world. Not one woman has ever started an invasion of another country. And what does he say? He just didn't need a church, nor did he need a plate pass. The wound will always take the heart. Them in hands. They were weak. False prophets, egotistical, bitch ass men. Did I say that out loud? Yes, you did. Very pertinent conversation. Very in the moment phrasing. I like that.
It's on the screen now.
Yeah, you take it back. And you know, StreamYard and Facebook be monitoring us and shit. That's why, oh, let me tell you something. I noticed. Now,
you know you're in LA. You know a lot of people know you're in LA. You the plug.
Hey, listen, check this out. Now, when you and I were on that other platform for an hour, almost an hour, we had no problems. You notice that? We had no problems at all. Soon as we get on here, all of a sudden, stuff start glitching. One platform, no problem. On this platform, boom, start glitching.
Look, you see Marion came in with
Marion to go do some damn research. Google shit and tell me, come back and tell me that.
Marion.
Leave it to him. Can't let my statement stand, Leonard. Marion, just can't let what I say stand. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But goddamn it, you ain't got to live check me on shit.
She took a quote from the Kenneth. She took a quote from the upside down Bible to justify her wars. Hey, look, Kenneth, let's pivot right quick. Let's pivot. I gotta hear what you thought about Davos. I gotta hear what you thought. Just give it to me. What you thought about Davos.
Okay, which one which statement?
That's crazy.
That about we gotta
wait, that's crazy. You said which statement?
When that idiot,
which one? Which one? Which one?
The last one I heard, because I've been sick for the last two. I had the flu, so I really didn't watch much TV. I was sleeping.
Hey man.
But
look.
The thing when he said we have an agreement on the United States controlling Greenland. And what was the guy's name? What's his title? The prime minister or something like that? Somebody coming right behind him and said, "No, we don't. We need to talk about that."
The head of the UN.
Yeah, head of the UN, head of NATO. I think it was NATO. We need to talk about that.
Yeah, the head of the UN.
We ain't talking that. We ain't mentioned nothing about the United States taking ownership of Greenland. And this is a crazy thing. He said the only thing we did talk about with Greenland was United States has an agreement with Greenland and Denmark to build as many bases as they want in Greenland. So the fact that they're sitting here talking about you want to take over Greenland so you can protect Greenland from the rest of the world, or protect the United States and all the countries in North America from Russia and the Chinese, which is kind of crazy because neither one of them got to come through Greenland to get to the United States. They got to come by Greenland. They can come off, because Alaska's maybe 100-something miles, maybe not even that far away from Russia. So they ain't got to come through Greenland to get to the United States. They can come through Alaska. But that's neither here nor there. But he said that, the United States has had this agreement for years. This is not anything new. We told you could have unlimited bases there. As long as you don't mess up the infrastructure or anything with that, or mess up the environment of Greenland, it's all good. Then he said, we want to have the control of the natural resources. Greenland, and somebody was like, hold on. If that's what you want to have to help get some of Greenland's natural resources, all you do is enter into a partnership with us. Ain't nobody gonna turn you down on that. That's money for all of us. Why are you trying to talk about invasion when all you have to do is Just have a discussion. Come up with an agreement. The people in Greenland don't hate the United States. They can't stand the fuck out of Trump. They hate that motherfucker, but the rest of us, they cool with us. So I don't understand why his whole thing of this white man, the white man's burden thing, he's internalized that. Nobody else can do it better than us. We fuck up everything here, but the rest of y'all, you know what? We do our fuck ups better than y'all do y'all fuck ups. That's all he's saying. We fucked up over here, but when we fuck up better than the rest of y'all. So we want to help y'all fuck up just as bad as we fuck up. That's all he's trying to do. This whole discussion about Greenland and other and Venezuela and all this and all that. We want to help them to fuck up just as well as we fuck up. That's all it is. And it's his ego. His ego. That white man's burden is just about white man's ego.
I think
that man can be weak and egotistical.
This is what I say.
Oh, that's easy. Most egotistical people are, Harry. You ever noticed that?
I don't think he's.
What'd you say?
He's suffering from dementia.
Oh shit, that's that.
Yeah.
Hell, yeah. Stevie Wonder can see that shit. He's declining rapidly before our eyes.
Right, before our eyes. And so what's going on?
The only problem is it's taking too long to take him out.
Yes, you got a lot of billionaires there trying to like Greenland pushes by Lauder, from the Lauder, Lauder, Lauder Cosmetic Association. And the question you should have for yourself when it comes to what Byron said, egotistical as men, we are run by a bunch of egotistical as men. And Lauder is an 82-year-old billionaire. Your best years of your life are behind you. And if we were in a room full of men, we would be saying certain things. I'm like, bro, you didn't have everything that you can get. It's no more for you to get. Why are you pushing this? Why do you want to? Because you're 82. 82. You're 82. And why are you pushing this? How do you get to have this type of access to get this type of access? And you're right, Marion. Carney gave a hell of a speech, and that did piss him off. But Carney said stuff that if you all have not watched Carney's speech at Davos, you need to. Everybody should post that speech because he was clear and blunt, which is the old order is no longer in place. And that can be a direct message to the African-American neighborhood. The old order is no longer in place. This new order, if it's not stopped, is all about might exploiting the weak. That's why they went after Venezuela, which is why you haven't seen any more drug boats hit Venezuela. Lenny Jones pointed that out to me. You haven't seen any more drug boats. No more boats have been shot. And that's because there's certain men that want to go and exploit Venezuela. They see this as their chance to get untold riches.
Oh, hold on. We didn't mention this. So one of the ships that the oil tankers that they
two. They
take one of them. I don't know about.
One of them was sold for $500 million.
$500 million. They sold it for $500 million. How about that went to a private account?
Right, to a Qatari bank run by Trump.
Right, a 500. Now, how would that benefit the United States? It doesn't. He got $500 million, and to be quite honest, I'm saying this. Once that motherfucker leaves office, I don't give a shit what the fucking Supreme Court says. That bitch ass motherfucker needs to be locked the fuck up if he's still alive. Every single asset that he owns needs to be repossessed. Him and his motherfucking family, every single one of them fuck ass people needs to be fucking homeless. Every goddamn the United States, whoever the damn next president is, their Department of Justice, their first, and I do mean their first motherfucking thing they need to do is go after every single penny that motherfucker has. Every single goddamn penny. I don't give a shit how long it's been in any accounts. Every fucking account, every motherfucking piece of land he owns, every goddamn car he owns, every fucking plane he owns, every goddamn suit he owns, every motherfucking pair of drawers that bitch ass motherfucker owns. They need to take all that shit. Every single one of them. And any bank that does not want to give these funds, god damn it, put a fucking what do they call that shit? I can't think of the name of it. Freeze their assets in that bank. If they have any motherfucking what the fuck? Any branches or anything in the United States, freeze all their fucking assets. Every single motherfucking asset of them. And get everybody else in the world to do the exact same goddamn thing. Because if you do that, they will give up that fucking money. They will give up that $500 million easily. No, we don't need that goddamn. We don't need that goddamn money. That $500 million ain't benefiting us. Fuck it. Take all the shit. Every country in the world that he has property in needs to seize that shit. Take it over.
Every move they
naturalize
made,
it, as they say.
What Byron just said, call it back. What Byron just said, precious metals, nuclear energy. I've said from day one, they're not trying to stop the Mexican cartels. They want this resource. They want the product that the Mexican cartels sell. It's too much money. They just want a piece of all of that. They just want, and that's why the Mexican cartels are doing transactional business with him right now. You haven't heard anything about him taking over the Mexican drug cartels because they got backdoor channels saying, okay, how much of the drug trade you want? You only gonna be here for 4 more years. How much we got to do business we got to do for you to leave us alone? Because we damn sure want the U.S. military coming to him messing with us.
It also goes back to Nigeria. Remember when he bombed a few weeks ago? He bombed.
Yep.
Part of Nigeria talking about they were killing Christians and all that. Motherfucker, y'all kill Christians here every day.
Every day.
You kill Christians here in the United States every damn day. And in the place, it came out, the place that they bombed, there were none of these Muslim extremists, quote unquote extremists, even there. They bombed the village that had nothing to do with any of this shit.
It's just a message.
Some random village or town in Nigeria, they bombed. They had nothing to do with all this stuff that they were preaching.
It's just the message.
Nothing to do with it.
We want a certain amount of barrels per day from that light crude oil. We want a certain amount of barrels. We want it to go into this account. And if you don't, because we're in charge, we will turn the U.S. military against you. And that's what they've been doing. And that's probably why we're getting glitches. And when I tell people, you're right, they're all collaborating. But they have the infrastructure to do it. They got infrastructure of assassins, special forces. They turned off the lights in Venezuela to get Maduro because it was an inside job. We know it was an inside job. You can only do it if you have control over Congress and the president. Yes, absolutely. Because all of them getting paid. So what does that mean for our community?
That's the crazy thing. You are participating, these leaders. These leaders, these countries are willing participants in all this shit.
Because they're getting paid. There's not a person, there's not anybody in Congress, nobody in Congress wants to come back and get a regular job. Me and Mary talk about it all the time. You don't want to come back. You've been in Congress with all the perks, $174,000. You don't want to come back and do what me and Byron do or what Mary has done. You don't want to come back and teach school. Not when you got a billionaire over here saying, man, I'll slide you goddamn $5 million in your damn Cayman account. You don't want to do that. You don't have regular people in Congress. People that if they don't have Congress, they can come back and get jobs and earn a decent living. They don't. You don't have regular people because regular people think they made too many mistakes that will prevent them from running for Congress or running for leadership positions. All I can tell you is, man, look at Lech Walesa from Poland. Lech Walesa was a Polish shipbuilder who ended up running a union and ended up running the country. A regular dude. Kenneth, you cut off. You on mute? Yeah, you on mute. Why you on mute? Unmute your mic.
I got a phone
call.
All right,
you got to take us out. I got something I got to do. It's almost 12:30. Take us out. We could all start this back up next
Look
week.
at you.
Take us out.
All right, listen, y'all. It's this was a very good discussion. Thanks, Mike, for coming on here and adding some flavor to it today.
Blowing it up.
Not that the conversation was stale, but it damn sure added some flavor. I can tell you that much now. But thanks again, y'all. Thanks all y'all for being patient with us. And I don't know if we're gonna be using the other platform or this one again. And apparently we're gonna have to stick with this one. Because the other one we can't figure out why, or Leonard can't figure it out. I haven't tried.
This shit expensive.
Figure out. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's expensive as hell. And we can't even use it. You need to refund this shit.
No, this platform is expensive.
Oh, I thought the other one was.
No, the other one is, I'm about to call them, that the other one allows us to go to all of our platforms. This one just allows us to have 3. Every time we add one, they charge us $25 a month extra. So whenever you add one, we go up. But don't worry, I'm gonna call the other one.
Well, Vincent, you need to come in earlier, bro. We did a 2.5-hour show.
Yeah, man. What's up with you, bro?
Hey,
yeah,
you late, bro. We've been up since 10 o'clock this morning.
That's insulting. That's insulting. Take us out.
Hey, we really appreciate the feedback and all the things that's going on. A chance for us to have something to say, and all of you to respond. So please continue to view our podcast, our little itty bitty podcast with,
and you can come on.
Viewers.
You can come on. We can host up to 10 people at any given time. I can host up to 10 people. I never get the women to come on because they say,
Byron, let Leonard know what your solution is, because we need
Byron,
to figure this
come
out.
On. Byron, you can come on. Vincent, you can come on.
We need to.
Mary, you can come on.
All right, anyway. Baby. Yeah, it is. One more thing, y'all. Listen, it hasn't. I'm in Augusta. It hasn't started raining here yet. It's supposed to start this afternoon. Is what I can tell. It hasn't started in Atlanta yet. Y'all be careful out there. You know, all up and down the East Coast. We got in the Midwest inclement weather and all that. Y'all be careful out there. If you haven't already gotten all the stuff you need, supplies last for a couple of days. You know, go out and get it. If you can get a generator and you don't have one, you can get one, please go get it. I know they're expensive, but at times like these, this is some worth going in a little bit of debt over getting a generator. Believe me, it comes in handy because you don't want to be caught out there with no heat at all. If you can't get one, go with somebody who has one. If you can't get that, you got a fireplace, fire up the fireplace, go get some wood, fire the fireplace.
Let me say this.
Okay, Linda telling me I got to go. Like I can't.
Let me say this.
Can't see that.
Let me say this. I'm gonna quote the great rapper Andre 3000 and Jack Black. Big things start in small rooms. This is a small room. We got until November to start some big shit. We got until November to make sure black pastors own their shit. We got until November. Because if you let this go past November, we're going to be in trouble. But now it's just me and you on. So, Kenneth, I'm out. I'll call you this week. I'll call and check on you tomorrow. Make sure you're okay. And thanks everybody for coming on. Hey, Kathy.
All right. Deuces, y'all.
Deuces.